directed by attorney to do that.
Okay,
Okay,
is this something?
now, do you have a report? I'm sorry. I'm done. Okay. No.
Nothing other than to say, to echo John Chief-Pate's comment about reviewing the TIF documentation. We're actively looking at that. We're focusing on applied right now. So we're...
Identify yourself.
All right.
I'm sorry?
Can you identify yourself?
Oh, I am John Lindblom. I represent IRH Developments. We're currently working with the village, reviewing their books and records and obligations. So, as I said, we are actively reviewing TIF, not only applied, but also with the goal of having the TIF funds, having an audit completed by the end of the year. That's our goal. So we're looking through a lot of documentation. As Chief Pate mentioned, we're looking at the source documents to determine whether some of those reimbursements that were made were proper. So it will take a little time, but for you to know, for the village residents to know, we're actively looking at that.
Thank you. Okay, any others on the board? Reports? Other trustees?
I have a question.
Sure. And then we'll go to
the IRH reports that have been submitted thus far, we can take those to the bank. What I mean, they're true.
They're true to the extent of the documentation that's been provided to us up until this point. As we look further through the documentation, there may be some things that we uncover that may change some of those numbers. So it's kind of an ongoing process, but the end goal is to present as accurate a picture, financial picture as possible of these TIF dealings. So eventually we'll, as I said, an audit will be completed, and that'll give an accurate picture of the TIFs as they stand now, as well as the activity that has taken place with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on the board here? Comment? Yes.
I just have one thing to say, and this is to the village manager. We as people are human. I'm not blaming this on you, but this place needs to be sterilized, explode something, because things are biting us.
Yes.
This carpet down here, I think, is embedded with eggs or something. Things are just coming up, it's flying all around. It's not good for our health. Would you please sterilate this place?
No problem.
Thank you.
That was an easy request.
Starting with the chair.
Trustee Wilson?
Yes, I just have a couple things to say, make comments on no questions. I want to send condolences to Red's family and his friends and associates, because it was very shocking to everybody, and everybody is saddened by this. Ms. Resident Jewel Thompson put out some information that's very useful for all residents and about his passing, and I think we should take a look at it or Google it on your own so we can recognize signs and help our friends, our family, our constituents, okay? So again, condolences to him, his family, and friends. School board meeting today. On next door, we have 464 people looking. We have a handful that are very, very vocal. We had a school board meeting today where a lot of people, a lot more should have been there. There's some terrible things going on at that school district. My children, unfortunately, well, kind of fortunately, but not, did not go there, so I was not that involved. And now that they've moved on to college, I'm more involved with the school district. The things that are happening there are unacceptable. And when they make a call and ask for residents to come out, residents really need to come out and find out what's going on at the school board. To sum it up, they are eliminating those of color. And I mean any color. The school is 95% African American, and the staff, administration, and the board is predominantly white. They don't understand, some don't care, and if we don't do something about it, our young black males particularly will have many issues. Ms. Star Lawson mentioned that we went to the Congressional Black Caucus. That year that I did go, I brought back information, handouts about from the schools to the prison pipelines. I brought that back and I discussed it and I passed out handouts. I voted no on some communications between the police department and the school board, the school, because they are doing exactly what I brought back, because we're not vocal enough. People, residents, please, let's be vocal about the injustice to African Americans. If you're on next door, next point. Greg Box brought up that the gas prices on Speedway in University Park are 19 cents higher than they are at the same Speedway in Crete-Monique. I don't buy gas in Illinois because I work in Indiana. Much cheaper. So I never noticed the price differences. I looked online, yes they are. I made a phone call. People are starting to make some negative comments because I made a phone call. I have some actions. I'm begging the residents. I told them, here's how I brought out the racial issue. Not sure if it's NFL, but the residents are saying this is racial. There should not be price differences of 19 cents when you're 2 miles away in a white neighborhood. They filed a claim. If they do not answer, I figured 48 hours. We need to do something about it. Yes, people say, oh, we've been talking about this for 7 years. We've been talking about it for 7 years because we've not done anything for 7 years. So when they refuse to respond or come up with this algorithm mess, if the monies do not match, if the prices do not match, we should do something about it. I didn't make it to Congressional Black Caucus this year, but looking at live streams and talking to people that were there, one of the things that everybody mentioned to me that was key was there is power in protesting, power in the lack of money. If these two gas stations don't bring the prices down to what's in Crete, we need to collectively stop buying gas. Go up there with signs. These protests that people are doing all over the U.S. work. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be on the soapbox. If they don't answer, I'm putting out a cry now. Please, when I post it, please, 464 people on next door, come out. Be at the gas stations. We can split up with signs, have the news stations there. You drop your prices or we do not buy. Oh, okay.
I can speak to that myself. Yesterday, I paid for the regular gas $2.30, and I happened to be at the Speedway there over at the intersection Governor's Highway and is it University Parkway? Yeah. This morning, and I was actually myself, I was shocked to see it was at $2.54.9. 25 cents higher than what I paid yesterday. So you bring up a good point, Trustee Wilson.
It's a valid point. Thank you, Gregory Box. Sometimes if you don't agree with somebody trying to make a positive change, maybe we could just keep silent. If you're not going to be part of the positive change, then maybe just be silent so the positive change can continue to move. Last point. I've been talking with resident Katrina Johnson, Dr. Johnson, excellent, very informative. She's a professor of biology. So she's been working with Gary Richardson. By trade, I'm an environmental health and safety specialist. I deal mostly with chemicals in the environment, but I care about the environment nonetheless. So I partner with her, and myself, and Gary will be working on sheets and give a little bit more information. Because Gary has all the details and information. I think he's just not passing it out the way the residents want to see. So me and Ms. Johnson, Dr. Johnson, will be working with Gary Richardson to get the information out a little more clear for the residents.
Thank you. Any other?
Can I ask a
Okay.
question? When you mentioned the school board, at one point, the school board had 4 African Americans and 3 whites. And none of these issues came out by the 4 African Americans. That concerns me that now somebody is no longer the president of the school board, and it's like in the background kicking up dust. Are these real issues? My son is at the high school. I'm at the high school. I'm involved. I'm a band booster parent. So I'm seeing things at the high school, but I'm not experiencing this racial tension from the people, the white people that I'm dealing with at the school.
Ms. Lawson, I felt the same way until today. Well, I had some little clues. They built a school and several young black males were sent there, and they don't have the same curriculum, intentionally. And I asked, even when the board was majority black, why not? I wasn't satisfied with the answers, but my kids didn't go there, and I just wasn't on top of things then. Today, it wasn't about certain board members. These were teachers up there telling their stories about the racial injustice. So today was very important. Very many teachers, students were all talking about the racial injustice and giving examples and giving verbiage, conversations that they had with different individuals on the board and different administrators. So today was not about hearsay, it was about words coming out of the teachers' mouths and the injustices that they have individually dealt with. And some of them say we kept quiet, but now that they've done this to the administrator, Dr. Cunningham, everybody's upset.
Yeah.
And so now they're speaking out.
At
Why?
a point where he kept quiet and he didn't do anything, and now you're calling for us to be there to support him. He didn't try to support the young black children, when they needed help, and now everybody's supposed to run to his aid because he's black.
So there was a conversation about that as well. And the conversation was this, that he understood that they don't keep black people there long. He was trying to get along so he can push through the right agenda, the agenda on the children. So they, if you don't have to believe it.
Yeah, cut it.
We can talk about this later.
Cut that.
Okay, but to hear the truth and hear what's going on is important to be at the board meeting.
Right.
And then you can talk to those individuals and hear their stories yourself.
Paula,
Yes.
will that meeting be on the website, the school's
It is on the
website?
website. Yeah, they have the 3rd Tuesday of every month at 6:30 for comments until 7 o'clock.
No, was it videotaped?
Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
I'm sorry, on their website, yes. Thank you everyone for tonight. I will be short. I have set the clock is, and I thank God for the opportunities that was afforded to me. As you know, I am part of a African American Mayor's Man. I brought all you guys back something. Here you go. This is the monument that we did do a tour. We did go to the African Americans Museum, which was unbelievable. It was unbelievable there. And to see that it was just an engagement. I was honored here to be a spokesman on the panel for the Madam C.J. Walker's panel, Legacy. And that was just unbelievable. It was 5 mayors, and I was one of the mayors there, nationally, and we spoke to that. And here it is here. It's on the website. When you look, you'll see that we were spokesmen. Our congresswoman was there, and she brought in Chief Davis from Hazel Crest that was on our panel as well. It was very, very, as well, always instrumental. Mayor from Gary, Indiana, Connecticut, New York, and myself. It was very, very, very instrumental in what they do for children. So I got them to come back. They're going to come here, and I talked to Ms. Neva Jenkins about this because of the, and our town hall meeting people, that we are in need for this. So they're going to come here and help our young women on how they can get established and what their program is all about. And I also, back home, I would like to congratulate our Chief Pate, which I didn't have the opportunity to do. To go to his graduation was phenomenal. There were officers from chiefs from China that were there, and they spoke highly of our Chief Pate. And he was one of the highest graduates there, and I just want to give a round of applause to him for that representing card. And then I want to thank, I went Sunday before, last week before I went out of town, I went to the leukemia research. And you know that we do have one of those centers here, and Ms. Donna Gaskin, they said she's the first ever to have one, and the media will be here to cover that. They were very, very proud of her doing that instead of her husband. Also, when I went to Minneapolis, the young people will be coming here. Mayor Nutter will be coming to University Park to help us with our children of trouble. And as Ron Davis, which I did know him, the Davis family, used to come to my house on a regular basis when he was a young kid. And everybody loved him. And they talked about violence with young people and suicide. And it's a sad day of what's happening with our young people. So Mayor Nutter has offered to come to University Park for our youth town hall meeting to speak to that, and a few judges. I also attended here the premiere reception at the Congressional Black Caucus, where we had Miss Linda Winfield was our mistress of ceremony, and Judge Mathis was there and spoke. And he has introduced me to a judge that will come and sit on this panel for our youth group. And I just want to say, every day is very, very sad about our social media. So I talked to Neva Jenkins about that, and she'll be talking to you, Ms. Keeley, on that, when you were out, and I want to thank her. I just want to give a round of applause to Ms. Neva Jenkins, too, for what she did while we were out of town. Ms. Childress was out of town. She did a tremendous job. I worked her to death for two Fridays with me. She came up with all these great ideas, and she was telling us about the pool and a lot of things that we can do for our youth. And this is one of the things that she's brought up, social media, which they had at the Congressional Black Caucus. They had the social media guide, which we're going to have a seminar. I talked to the chief about that as well. Some training on social media, and they're going to be here as well. So I'm looking forward to that youth committee. It's going to bring a lot of information back to our board, our village, and I'm sad to say, it was, as she said, Trustee Wilson on next door, it can be positive, but no one has to be nasty. I refuse to get on there. I will not get on anything that toxic because it's about our people. And as I said before, the things that I do, this trip cost me almost $3,000 out of my pocket. And I will continue to do it. I was in Philadelphia. I was in Minneapolis. I was in Washington. I am going to Connecticut next month because I'm concerned and I love what I do here at the Village University Park. A lot of the funding that we got here, we got that for grants because of the connections, talking to the people and trying to get fundings here. The South Suburban Area Managers, we talked as well to get the fundings about a lot of things that we try to bid for. University Park has been on the docket for a lot of different things, such as casino. We were trying to bid for that as well, but it's up to them to make the final decision. So I would ask that we do what we have to do to support everyone in it, and also last board meeting rather, there was an argument, and our treasurer came and apologized to me. And he apologized to most of the people here on the board. I think he did all of them. People do get excited and they have a heated moment, but he did say he was sorry. And naturally, we have to forgive him if we are Christians that we say we are. We have to forgive a lot of people because of what we do. I forgive them before they even ask for it. And today at the school, I was there I think there was Shirley was there, Ms. Williams was there, Ms. Taylor, and other people, and it was sad to see what was really happening. But we do need to stay about our business in the village. Had to be here, and we need to go there as well to see what we can do to assist. And Ms. Lawson, I understand what you're saying. There was a lot of things. There was a meeting at the Baptist Church yesterday, and David Stebbing did tell us about some rulings when he was there that should have been done. And you're correct. Some of these things we should have been applying a long time ago as well. We should have been paying attention to it. And we need to continue to pay attention to that and see and help what we can do at all times. So I just ask everyone to stay positive. Chief Payne is doing a fantastic job. The board is working really hard. I'm really happy that we're together now on one accord. And again, I ask that we forgive people because all the time, you never know what's happening in their life, how they're feeling. And just for the record, our treasurer was not allowed to look at a lot of records. He was not allowed to sign checks. He was not allowed. So when they said for years you've been sitting there, I can witness and testify there was a lot of things he wasn't privy to look at. So on that, for the record, I want that noted, that he was not allowed to look at a lot of things in the budget. So if I could just say thank you for everything that everyone's doing. I know it's hard, but we're going to do better and better and better. And I love each and every one of you, and you can't do anything about it. And at this moment, can we have a silent moment for the Davis family? Thank you. With that, I ask for an adjournment.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Oh, yes, I'm sorry. We have a motion to go in executive session now. And they promise it's going to be short.
For litigation.
Very points. Oh, you made your motion for litigation. Thank you all.
I'll second.
I know. A second. Thank you. See you guys in 2 weeks.